Welcome, I'm Melonie Nielsen with Yoga with Melonie, and today we're going to explore some mobility play with child's pose. Child's pose is many people's favorite pose, so here's some ways that you can play around while you're in the pose if you want to do something other than just holding it as a static pose. So come meet me on your mat and let's get on to our hands and knees. And take the knees a little wider than the hips and the big toes to touch towards each other. And then as you set back, your heels and hips might touch each other or they may not, and that's okay. But walk your hands out, way out in front, so much so that their only thing is touching is your fingertips to the ground. And then you're stretching as long as you can stretch. You could even imagine that the hips go back, your fingers go forward, and there's a little traction to the spine. So I'm being very active in this child's pose. The directionality, hips back, fingers forward. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. And then add to this a little swaying of your hips side to side, like you're rocking more to one heel and then to the other, side to side rocking. And do one more to each side. You turn back to center. Take these long arms now and walk them over to the left side of your body. And your leg, if you can, you'll draw your chest up and over the leg, or maybe the leg stops you and that's as far as you go. But you'll get a deep stretch to this outer right rib cage, shoulder, maybe you even feel it all the way into the hip. Deep breaths in, full breaths out. And if you want a little mobility play here, you could turn open the heart a bit to that open side and then spiral it, turn it a bit to the other side. Opening up and turning to the other side. And just these tiny little plays of movement. It's like you're just trying to find other areas to stretch into, to explore, to breathe into a little more deeply. And now let's take it over to the other side. So you walk over and you might go right to the leg, or you might go up and over that leg a bit. Stretch out the arms long. Deep breath in, full breath out. You could anchor a hip back, keep walking the fingers forward. You could also take the heart and kind of twist it, peek underneath that arm on the side you're stretching, and then twist it to the other side. Opening and closing. And once more. And then let's walk it back to center. And walk again over to the left side. We're going to place the right elbow on the ground and place the palms together if you can and give a little twist to the sky. And then we're going to untangle, go to the other side. So I'm kind of taking my elbow to either the yoga mat on that other side or the outer knee. Press and twist. Other side, press and twist. And keep fluctuating, press and twist. And we'll do one more, but the next one we'll hold. Elbow down, palms if they can, and turn. If the palms don't work, that doesn't work for you, you can take a hand to a hip, other hand waving to the sky or stretched out. Untangle, go to the other side. Unwind all of that. Stretch your arms out in front again. This time, bow the head round the whole spine and roll yourself upright. And once you're up, fold at the hips, bow everything forward, and once again, roll your way back up. And do that a couple times more of tipping forward, bowing forward, rolling the spine up, and bow forward, and rolling the spine up. Let's do one more. Bow forward and rolling the spine. Let's take the knees wide as almost the yoga mat if you can, and take your hands even wider than the yoga mat. I'm going to make a 90-degree angle with my arms. I call these crab arms, and there's space between the knees. And I want to first work with rolling the shoulders. So I take one shoulder and roll it back. You might even find your heart twisting a little. And then the other shoulder rolls back. You might get a little bit of this kind of mobility and play to your upper back. Think of it like a little massage to the upper back. And now let's take both shoulders, the front of the shoulders, draw them up towards the sky or back. And now let your chest sink towards the floor in between the legs. Maybe it even comes to touch the floor, and then your chin might also touch the floor. And then you're going to give a little rounding, bowing the head, rounding the upper back. And then again, shoulders back, heart melts, chin touches down for some folks, and bow again. Open heart towards floor. You're just sinking between your shoulders. You're melting down and then rounding. Opening and melting and rounding and melting and rounding. Two more. Melting and rounding. And last one, melting and rounding. Let's round our way all the way back up. And come to hands and knees position. So we're going to line our hips up with our knees. Take our right hand to the floor so your fingers point to the left. You're going to go palm upward. Thread that arm over to the left and come down to your shoulder and ear, like you're listening to the floor. And then your top hand, I'm going to make that arm a 90-degree angle again. Push a little at the floor and encourage a little turning of the belly and heart to the sky. You could always back off of it a little, and then turn into it a little, and backing off, and turning in. It's like you're rolling into this twist. And do two more. Make your way all the way back up, hands and knees. Other side, take your left arm down, palm up, thread it over to the right side, come to ear on the floor. The other hand's a 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to turn the belly and heart to the sky, and then rotate it a bit back towards the floor. Turning to the sky, and to the floor, and to the sky, and floor, and sky, and floor. A couple more. Last one. Back to center. Let's make our way to our hands and knees position again, where our knees and hips are in line with each other, but you're going to walk your arms way out in front. And again, let your heart melt to the ground. And it just depends on your shoulder flexibility, your upper back flexibility, how far down you go. Some folks, maybe they even touch the floor and chin to the floor if that's the case as well. And a couple breaths here. And now start to bow and round, walk in, Walk to sit back onto your heels and roll your spine back up. So I hope you thought that was fun, some different play with child's pose. If you want further, much more longer length videos, come visit me on Patreon where I have those classes and more goodies, and hope to see you soon and be well.